without this, I don't know that we would be as far as we are with Cameroon. I was always also thinking how sometimes it seems like nothing is happening, but everything is brewing underneath. And that's how I feel right now. And so I just want to welcome everyone this morning. Um, and thank you for being a part of Project C. Project C definitely has a holistic view closest to Shiroma's. And meanwhile, of course, we're independent and we're really the voice of the people. But it is important to have the collaborations. I think one of the things we're most grateful for through you is that we've been able to coordinate with so many different groups, bloggers, other organizations. And I also would say that with the privilege of us having Eric, we can closely make that claim that we know and we have an idea what Shiroma is doing on his camp. So there's so many different parts working together. So we're here again. I don't know, Ari, you're the one keeping count. Could this be the 21st Saturday? We have just come to know that this is what we do on Saturday, and
20,
it's not a choice.
it's 24 weeks.
24 weeks. Wow. And so for everyone here, kudos to us, kudos to those who are streaming and through all the different platforms, is that it is a commitment, and it's not an emotion that fades off, and that it is a commitment to see that our country is going to be that which we all visualize. That is really the bottom line. And until that happens, we will not stop. We have learned many times that we don't come separately, we don't come in different ways, and then when we don't get what we want, we don't stop, but that we will continue until until we get what we want. But the good news is that we are closer than we think we are. And so I'm going to pass this on to Ari, who's going to pass it to Eric. But this, to me, has been a very eventful week. It has been the most strategic week, understanding what's going on the ground, understanding what's coming up this week. And it is in these conversations, it is in these collaborations, it is in the actions of connecting with people in Cameroon, helping out in places that are really, I mean, we're dealing with a humanitarian crisis here, violation of people's rights, but worse still because thousands of people are in jail. People have been killed, and that's just what is being reported, maybe 64, but it's definitely more. So it's a crisis that only Cameroonians, somebody told me, shouldn't we just raise funds like, when there's a crisis, I'm looking for the right word, in another country, people help out. Yeah, if you have a volcano, for sure, we all can relate. If we hear that a bunch of people died, there was an earthquake, we relate. This is a Cameroonian problem. I'm so sorry, but we have to take responsibility. Created by Cameroonian people, maybe through our nonchalantness or between the maturity, and we have to clean it up. And when we go to clean this up, other people, sympathizers, might come. I gave an example to someone the other day, like, if a couple has a problem in their house, the neighbor doesn't jump in to get into that problem, do they? No. But if somebody starts screaming for help, they might help. But the problem is in the house, and the house has to start by asking to save itself, and then maybe help can come. But we have to save ourselves in our Cameroonian house, and that's where we are. So Ari, I'm going to hand it over to you. Thank you so much.
Well, thank you very much, Ellie. It's deeply honored to have the opportunity to be here. But today, I sent out a message earlier, and I wanted us to make this a frank conversation with the Cameroonian people. And I want to read something that I wrote in 2 years ago, which is as applicable as it is today. And it's an address to the people of Cameroon. And it's, I want to begin with this African proverb, which says, If opportunity doesn't knock, build a door. If opportunity doesn't knock, build a door. For 60 years, we as a people have aspired for a prosperous nation. Every one of us wants our country to prosper. For 60 years,
And
our
I've been
strategy
holding this
has
shit for almost what,
oh,
15, 16 hours. And
yeah, that tells us we're having
when
an
I've
impact. That tells us we're having an impact when they begin to attack us like
been
this.
holding this shit for almost what?
Yeah. They will take care of that. All right. I think we're good now.
Yes.
But I'll ask for our technical gurus
Yes.
to ensure that this doesn't happen.
Yes.
And so I was saying for 60 years, hope has been our strategy. We have left our destiny in the hands of unscrupulous politicians and civil servants who most of the time have been motivated by their own interest and not the interest of the country. 60 years of independence and a country remains fragmented, plagued with corruption, poverty, failing power supply, lack of potable water, conflict, and a long list of challenges. How is it that a country so rich in natural resources could be so poor in providing a social safety net for its people? How can a people so rich in capacity be so deficient in output? How can a land so fertile yield so low in productivity? These questions haunt me, and I hope that they haunt Cameroonians every day. If they don't haunt you, it is time for them to begin haunting you. It is time for us to wake up. No one has the answers to these questions than the 27 million Cameroonians living in Cameroon and in the diaspora. We must come together to provide answers to this question, and it would take all sectors of society working together, civil society, businesses, and government. Government alone, not government alone, not businesses alone, not civil society, but all sectors, not churches, not sects, not jujus, not China, not Russia, and not the West. If we must build a prosperous country, we need to rally behind the things that unite us. Too often, it is what divides us that motivates our action. But for once, my fellow Cameroonians, let's come together. Let us look beyond the political, ethnic, or linguistic divide. Let us do this in the interest of our children and their children. Let us come together not just for today, but for posterity. Let us be visionary, imagining what the next 25 years of Cameroon could be like. Let us commit to making a sacrifice now so that those coming after us would lead better lives than we have led in our country. The task ahead will not be easy. The path will be treacherous, but the reward will outweigh the pain and suffering. I know what we ask of you is daunting. What we've been asking here at Project C every week we come together is daunting. But if we have critical mass commit to change, we will transform our country into the proverbial El Dorado. To the young people of Cameroon, the future we seek is yours. Embrace it. Do not be spectators in the construct of your own destiny. Be actors. Do not embark on the battles of yesterday. Win those of tomorrow. Prosperity lies ahead if we can stand together as a country.
Just talk about the seriousness and importance, how we,
I,
anything.
I am not a politician, neither do I seek to be
Yes.
one.
And not necessarily.
Eli, you have to mute yourself. Sorry, we're hearing you. As I was saying, I'm not a politician and I do not seek to be one. I am an active and concerned citizen and will always be. And I'm sure all of us here are active, want to be active, and we are all concerned citizens. But I am one person and alone I am nothing. But together we can form a mighty force that can overcome every obstacle in our way. So let every active citizen from Cameroon across the land and the diaspora rise up to be counted at this moment. Let us unite forces, rise up like one man, rise up on the slopes of Mount Cameroon, rise up across the plains of the savannah, rise up in the jungles of the tropical south, rise up in the grass fields of the west, rise up in the coastlands of the Atlantic Ocean, rise up for the land of our ancestors. Rise up for the fierce urgency of now, and let us lead social transformation in Cameroon, community after community, village after village, town after town, city after city, and region after region. This is the time to act, time for action. Blame? Yes, there's many to go around, but action is what is required now. So bring your time, bring your dime, bring a hoe, bring a spade, a pen, your voice, a smile, a warm embrace. Let us rally together behind this movement, Project C. Make it yours. Take ownership, take leadership. Everyone is welcome here. Everyone will be treated equally here. I urge you to look beyond our imperfections, because many there have been. We're just human. We have the same weaknesses that you have, but we have a common purpose. One, to build a prosperous Cameroon. Too often I ask this question to myself: what is it that will make us angry enough to be able to apply all our forces to transform a country? Not the will of the people usurped, overturned, subverted through an electoral process that we all knew the government lost. A political leader, the winner of the elections, and in exile. A political leader choked to death. 40 people killed in a week. Thousands of people in jail. A country where basic necessities cannot be delivered, not water, not electricity, not internet. What is it that would make us angry enough? Too often we despair for not having won every battle, won the war. But every day, the battles that you and us, all of us, undertake in Cameroon is making a difference. Every Villemot, every Bensikin strike, every trucker strike, all of those things are the things that will culminate to bring this government down. This is a government that is on the run, a government that is basically in survival mode. They cannot plan for tomorrow, they cannot plan for next week, neither can they plan for the year ahead. So we must not despair. This is time where we need to continue to hope and aspire for a bright future. I'm sorry, Eli, I decided to go on this long monologue.
It's so perfect.
To really express,
yes,
to express how I felt about the current circumstances. For those of you who were up early to be part of this conversation, You're not here because you count on somebody else to bring change to our country. You're here because you are the change that our country needs. You are the one we've been waiting for the last 60 years. And this is probably the moment that we have been waiting for us to take back the destiny of our country into our own hands. So do not despair. Do not discourage. Find courage. Find hope. And let's make this a fight that we will win with every single action that we take. Every email, every text message, every strike action, all of
Ray?
yes.
Okay, so I think that well, I'm going to go back to the setting so we can then we can be able to regulate that then we did the first time. So that's what we're going to do. And
Should we just stop here?
so
They
yeah, I mean,
did
if you
everything
continue,
to try to interrupt my monologue there.
right?
But that just means how much attention. We're going to make sure that
Yes.
this doesn't happen again. We'll make sure the technical team is working to have that sorted. But Cameroon, I mean, this is the moment for us to keep pushing. We're so close, and yet it may seem so far. And I just don't want people to despair now. This is not the time. So, Eric, I'm going to turn this over to you and hope that they will not double the attack once they see you come on. But we're going to make sure that doesn't happen. I will ensure that it doesn't happen, or we will ensure that it doesn't happen. Yeah. Yeah. So, Eric, I'll turn it over to you. Yeah.
Okay. Thanks, Ray. I hope you all can hear me. Greetings from Memphis, Tennessee, where I am currently. And welcome to this edition of the Zoom. I see all familiar faces and particularly honored and happy to identify within, the audience, Dr. Malphobia. I want to think that it's him. Yes, it is. Welcome, Mal, and thank you for being a part of this. I hope you'd have something to say at some point as we go forward. This is entering, I also mentioned this, we're entering a very, and we've been doing over the last few months, a defining phase, I think. I want to try to capture as best I can what is happening on the ground and around the globe with regard to the political crisis we're facing. Understand where things stand right now, and so that as we go forward, you can, follow this with greater clarity than is the case right now. We have, I think, the battle lines in this crisis. The battle lines are becoming better defined, and it's important I say this so that those who've not been following until now can have, can not only follow but understand what's happening both on the ground in Cameroon and around the world to help us address the problem, the post-election crisis in that country. I want to show you what we are doing to ensure that ultimately we get to the results that we all have been working towards. We will get to those results, and I hope I'll be able to demonstrate how. And if there are any questions, of course, at the end of this, we'll be more than happy to shed more light on various on what is really going on. We're in a battle, we're in a war almost, and I think we're pursuing that war on two important fronts. As I say, I'm saying what I'm saying now to help, especially those who've not been with us or not been following closely what's going on. I'm saying what I'm saying now so that you can, hopefully, going forward, stay with us, stay in line with us, and contribute to getting us across the finish line. There are two fronts on which we are pursuing this battle. One is the military. The military. Most people, my friends with whom I discussed these things, some would rather I didn't touch on the military aspect of the solutions we're proposing or of the actions we're proposing. But there's the military. The second would be the pillar of our strategy. The military, I know there's some of us in the audience who are very much at home with that. And I'm not sure that I read myself, Elizabeth, the rest of the Project C team, I'm not sure that we're comfortable with the military option, but it is clearly, I know that therefore the government in Yaoundé and want to hear more about this because it is an option, it's on the table, the military option. But I want to make two things clear. One is, it's not a Project C option. There are folks in the group, there are members of Project C who are insisting that we move in that direction, that we adopt a military option. We cannot, for a whole variety of reasons. One, we don't have the means. I'm not sure that we have people with military expertise in the group. So why take it on if we cannot deliver? But it is an option on the table, and folks that we engage with in discussions are proposing a number of ways we can pursue the military option. There are three lines of action that have emerged on the military front. There are three lines of action. One, there are those who've come to us with the option of a coup d'etat. They want us to support offering that option as one means of bringing down the regime in Yaoundé, and they're demanding that we support their ideas. And it's clear from us that no, it's not an option for Project C. And I've said it, Are will say it, Elizabeth will say it, the rest of us from the Project C team will say it with insistence. We are not pursuing the military option. But it is on the table because people have brought it to us. The second line of action is to pursue some form of disruption of the normal process of military life in Cameroon. What that means is we're talking to members of the National Army in Cameroon, and they've come up with a very, they've noticed that it's a very divided army. It's a very divided army, and they want to and leads to a total breakdown of breakdown of systems within the Cameroon army. So that's the second. First option, military takeover. Second, division within the national army to a point where the national army cannot function normally. So that's the second military line of action. The third is the use of mercenaries to invade the country. I think that's what I hear. The use of mercenaries. And I've heard, again, we're talking about people who've suggested things to us, and some are actively pursuing this. So that third military option is the use of mercenaries, who, from what I heard, they'd probably invade the country from the north. And there are those who are looking at an invasion from, I think, the east, if I'm not mistaken. So these are the three possibilities. I don't know if it's possibilities, but it's what folks who want to pursue these lines of action are telling us. One, the use of mercenaries who will invade the country. Two, pursue divisions within the Cameroon army, and those divisions exist, and it's a question of widening them to make them no longer relevant to holding that nation together. And the third is outright military takeover. Divisions within the army, military takeover, and the use of mercenaries. So that's the military option. The civic political action, which is actually, now, with regard to the military, these are independent ideas that people have suggested, and they're pursuing them. So we don't know where all of that will lead Cameroon, but there are people who are determined, and they're working, and they're trying to get support from various quarters, including us, because they've spoken to us. But that remains an option on the table, the military. The second is what I'd call the civic, political, maybe, line of action. In that regard, this is being led by the president-elect to a very large extent. I hope it's clear that the military option I talked about is being led by independent actors. Project C is not a part of it, but people have come to us and they speak to us, so we know that these ideas are being, some are pursuing, some independent actors are pursuing these ideas. Now, sorry about that. The second, away from the military, is what I call the civic political manufacture. This is being led by the president-elect himself, Mr. Chiroma, and is being pursued on a number of fronts. One, the diplomatic, and we can discuss that. Two, the economic, financial. Three, civil society action. Three. And I'll include on that list communication, and I'll explain that. And then there's also support for the front line, actions that we're taking on the ground to support, for example, the truckers or the benzikinas, the motorcycle taximen and women. So that's one. That's the what I call support for the front line. Support for young people who've been jailed after the election results were pronounced. And then finally, what I'll call diaspora initiatives. So on the civic political front, which is led by the president-elect and supported by us, Project C and others, we have the diplomatic front. On the diplomatic front, a number of very important initiatives are being taken. Then there's the economic and financial, as I mentioned. There's the legal and judicial aspect of what we're doing. And then a range of communications related activities, support for the front line, which I tried to explain, and finally, diaspora initiatives. With all of this being pursued right as we speak, I believe that it is only a matter of time for the change that we so demand to happen. I think so. And we can go into this in greater detail as we pursue this discussion today. So it's very important. I would really love to get to the diaspora initiatives because that is important. And my hope, the hope of our group, is that you can all see how these things come together and encourage us to stay in the fight. Encourage us to continue to support the actions that are being taken. I'd like to go into greater detail with all of these elements that I've outlined, but I'd love to do that from the point of view of responding to questions that you may ask. So I would like for us not to lose that. So I'll come back to all of these things, hopefully with the questions folks would want to ask. I want to stop here with the fact that next week, Monday, an important conference will be taking place in Paris. As a matter of fact, I'm leaving I'm leaving Memphis in a few hours to go to the Paris conference. We'll shed more light on that conference, and I think it's important. We'll do so before the end of this program. So let me just leave you all thinking and wondering what this is going to be all about. But I'll stop at that and hand the microphone back to Elizabeth and Ari.
Okay, before I hand it over to Ari, just two quick announcements. We want to talk about money. And, you heard me earlier, calling some of the people on our fundraising team because I want them, and we're going to hear from them. But I just wanted to talk about what just happened earlier. And if you're sending links to people to join on Zoom, they can't because we've locked it. They can only join through streaming. So I know that usually we have more people than we have on here, but for the sake of what's going on, we are not going to. Nobody's going to be able to join the Zoom. If that luck works, unless through streaming. So please. Judith, and our team is posting on the different links. So if you're on here from the chat, you can copy the links and you can, you can spread the word, which is what we ask that you do, because this is a Cameroonian conversation, like Ari and Eric have alluded to. We have to be involved. This is our trouble, our problem to solve. So please go ahead and keep extending those invites through the different streaming. I think we have three different streaming platforms going on right now. With X, with Rebecca, we have MMI, which we're in collaboration with. That's Mimi Mefo's info on Facebook and on YouTube. And I know that if you're putting comments on there or maybe questions, we should be able to answer. Just be patient. We should be able to answer them also, as well as you may be able to take somebody in the group here and they can be able to put it on there. And Eric, I already see that there's a question that came up. But before I go there, let's really just talk about money. And because we know that, there are two things that are really important for this success. Two main things. Number one, and most important, is the people, our unity, collaboration, our awareness, our involvement at all the different levels you have heard. That's the most important, because without that, we're not even here, right? The second thing is the money. For us to be able to collaborate, for us to be able to donate, through whether the children who were using their body as shields for Shiroma before he was able to escape, from, the claws of this horrendous thieves and bandits that we know. And, or it is the truckers, or it is, over 2,000 people who are unjustly imprisoned, and more and more and more in counting, and families who have lost people. These, what Eric was calling the frontliners, these have been able to, we've been able to do this because of the money that you have brought in. And I want to, I really would love to. There are other sympathizers who could be Cameroonians and non-Cameroonians, and maybe Cameroonians who not trust. Listen, we and like Ari said, it's straight talk today, because we can come here and be so extremely formal and civil, and we're not hitting it where it needs to be. So we have had. I feel like we've been traumatized. Of course, we are collectively, but in terms of even other factions that we've raised money before for other reasons, that has not been used right. I found out yesterday that, sometimes over $2 million that would raise because people truly believed in what was going on and the money was not used. If we don't talk about the problems and where we have made mistakes, I'm wondering, how do we grow? How do we really make an impact, right? And so if you're coming from this place and this involves a lot of Cameroonians, then you're discouraged because you didn't see the results that you wanted. So I don't want us to stop. Project C, for sure, it does not want you to stop the conversations. We do not want you to keep engaging. And sometimes I've had very uncomfortable debates with other people, but it was all to light up their curiosity. I'm not saying we have the answers. I'm saying be curious enough to say, who is this Project C? Are they doing anything? Let's go to see what they're doing. Just be curious enough. Let's be daring enough and bold enough to continue having the conversations so that we can have more folks join us. That's what it takes. And initially, there may be a lot of resistance, and rightfully so, when so much has happened. But I want us to understand that why this fundraising and what we're doing is so unique, it's so powerful, and has never been done before. Never before have we, as a complete, total Cameroonians being able to join together as one. We come here, not whether you speak French, you speak English, and be able to join and in the way we have and make the difference that we have so far. And this is just as the road is being constructed. So now that we know and we are committed, saying, listen, this is not something that's going to end. Say, oh, now they won. There's nothing you can do. You hear those conversations. Let's find out whoever won a war. What country ever has been saved by their people if they were not willing to die for it? So the difference we have, number one, Project C, and you can definitely go on our website and find out more. But the difference is that we are Cameroon, where every single person, not one faction, we're not divided along the lines of religion, language, tribe, or anything. We are one Cameroon, and that's what makes a difference. We are also extremely transparent. As you know, we've been coming here for 24 weeks, telling you what we're going to do. And one of the things, as Eric alluded to, is we don't have weapons and we're not carrying weapons to go fight. But these conversations, and I know people have said, oh, we're having so many conversations. Yes, we must. Because how else do we understand anyone? How do we understand ourselves and what is going on if we don't stay informed at the very least? So please be engaged. We will continue to have information. We will continue to have conversations, because it is through the conversations that we're able to collaborate. I know Ari is going to talk about this later, but we are having a great partnership with MMI, which is the Mimi Mefo, because they have other people who are doing great things on the ground. The other people who single-handedly are boring holes, they have wells up north and other parts of Cameroon right now as we speak, raising funds by themselves, who are connecting with the truckers. I just feel so honored and privileged, sometimes too emotional, that we are showing up the way we are. And I'm appealing to everyone that it's just this small. We need more, and we need more. In order for us to have more, we need you, and we need us to connect with more people on a continuous, regular, daily basis. Not to have a conversation with another Cameroonian sister, brother, without finding out if they've heard about Project C, or if they're involved in anywhere in what's going on. They may not have heard about Project C. They may have heard they're not interested, but I know that they're interested in stopping the violence and what's going on in Cameroon. So after saying that, I have to say there are many initiatives that were forming through Project C. And by the way, because this has come up before, Project C is here forever, really. So long as there's a Cameroon, there always will be a Project C. And the first part is to ensure that we have the right president in there. And there's more that we're going to do. And because Cameroon is geographically located, and then there's Cameroon everywhere in the world, which is you and me in the diaspora. So we will always have a Project C, and the many other things that we're going to be doing. But right now, I feel really honored that we were able to form a fundraising group, and the many other initiatives that are being created. And we have done so much because, collectively, we've been able to impact this process in many ways. But now we want to take it to the next level. And so I am going to have two of our fundraisers who are part of the group be able to share with you authentically from their own standpoint of view what we've been able to do, so you're not hearing from me all the time, because there are many other people, and you're going to be hearing from many others from our team. So we're going to start with Miss Angeline Ndoni, out of Atlanta. Thank you so much. I know that she's somewhere in the mix, and she is going to be able to give you her perspective. And she may not be on camera, but I know she's going to be able to give you her perspective.
Thank you. I'm here.
Okay, thank you.
And thank you to all the initiators of Project C. I just recently kind of joined, and I got pumped up. And I got pumped up because we all want change, right? And there's that adage that be the change you want to see. And I also just want to add that also support the change you want to see. Don't just be the change that you want to see. And so I proudly accepted to serve on the fundraising committee because of this reason. Our fundraising approach is all grassroots. It's all grassroots. We're reaching out to you all. We're reaching out to people that we know, to others that we might have come in contact with. But also want to say, Lee, to underline the point that you said, just working on this for a couple of days, I found out that we are raising funds for Project C, not just raising funds. So we're raising the funds so we can raise the funds. And that is very, very key and is very important. So thank you all so much. Again, it's grassroots. I like the approach. I like the transparency. I like the fact that every penny, every dollar that is contributed is actually shared with everybody, that everybody knows that. And so it's easy to work with people and to get people to give. I have people who have given and have actually sent me money to send because they don't want to be seen or recognized. But I just want to say that I think it's time that we get off our easy chairs. It's time we get off our easy chairs and actually be active and actually go to work, pull our sleeves off and go to work. So thank you so much. I'm here to serve.
Thank you. We're so grateful. And, this has really given a lot of confidence to Project C. And, as I introduce one of our other team members, I just want everyone, and also, of course, across the line on all the different streaming platforms, to know that this is what we're needing. We are calling out, but we want you to reach out. And I already want you to forgive us because, yes, some of you have reached out before. Like I said, this road is always under construction as we are. For you, if you've reached out before, we didn't reach back to you, please, through our Project C, you really can only reach out through the Project C general forum, which is on WhatsApp. So please reach out again so we can have that conversation. And it could be an initiative that you're starting. There are other initiatives that other people are starting. We are not here, we have a great foundation. We formed a team. Now we need other tributaries. You may have a great idea you don't see yet, and you may be able to come in and we form a team, and you can be able to lead that. What I want you to know is that we need the help, and I know that we have the greatest leaders amongst ourselves as Cameroonians. Now, we also have Kenneth Tendo, from Canada, who, why they joined this team, and just hear from them on yourself, because I think that motivates every one of us. So, Ken, thank you for being on.
Thank you, Ali, for having me, and thanks to all the previous speakers. I feel privileged to be part of this thing, and I've been on every one of these calls. I think it's 24 now and counting, right? So as we had requests over the past couple of weeks for people to join the different committees, and you keep listening and listening, and then you start, expecting people to step up and be part of something, right? And the next question is, why not me? Why them and not me, right? Because we all come from different backgrounds, different expertise, and enough, there's not enough that we can get and say we're there. You need to be able to step up and raise your hand and help in any way that you can. This is our fight, right? And what are we fighting for? For our future, our children, and our children's children, right? This kind of a fight is a fight that requires tactics that we're not even used to. Some of them we're not even aware of. But the one thing we know is that the financial commitment is massive. And why do I say that? Yes, Elizabeth, I'm here. This fight has been going on. Project C is relatively new, right? But there are other groups that have been doing this for a long time. There are people who have made massive financial commitments. There are people who have given their lives. There are people who are stuck in jail and need help, legal help. There are truck drivers who their investments have been demolished. And so to those who have given in the past, thank you very much. And those who can give right now and those who will be able to give in the future, we ask you to please recognize the fact that this is not a one-time fight, and this is not the end of it. The end is close though, but the fight continues. And so no little amount is little, right? Give what you can, but at the same time, give a lot if you can give a lot, right? Because the challenges are massive. We have things that we're doing nonstop. I know Eric mentioned a little bit about the press conference happening in Paris. I'm going to touch a little bit about that, but that requires a lot of funding, the organization behind it, the cost and everything that is tied up with that, right? We have a legal fund that will look into help. That is massive. So the need is there. You know, one thing that struck me the other day as I'm recently part of this, the fundraising concept, talking to people, and Africans I've spoken to, they challenged me. They said they've been waiting for this. They call themselves freedom fighters from Somalia, from other African countries. They're like, where have you guys? And that's the question I ask everyone: where have we been? A lot of us in the diaspora have not been able to go home, right? We typically, most people go home in the Christmas time. We go to the villages, we go everywhere, but we're not going there. We're going to other African countries if we can afford to, or we're going to other parts of the world. But can some of that fund be directed, some of that money be directed towards the change and making Cameroon we want it to be? So that's where we can go for Christmas and New Year and enjoy the country that we want it to be. That's the question I ask every one of you today listening. Please reach out. Don't think too much. This is our fight, but this fight is not limited to Cameroonians. Reach out to your communities, other African countries, non-Africans. You guys, we talk about Cameroon being Africa in miniature. There's a reason why. We encompass a lot of Africa. And there are many Africans that used to look at Cameroon and envy Cameroon. And they want the Cameroon that Cameroon used to be, the Cameroon that we knew it to be. And we can make it better. So this committee is going to be here. Be on the lookout for what we're looking to do. It's going to require a massive fundraising campaign globally within your communities. So I urge you guys to please step up, starting today, right? Don't get off this call without asking yourself, what can I contribute? There's enough information on the WhatsApp group, on the pages for you to figure out how, if you have any questions, send emails, text messages, how can I help? How can I contribute? And we'll direct you as to how to get your money to where it needs to be. The key thing here is accountability. Project C is very transparent. I know Eli mentioned a little bit about past history, right, of fundraising initiatives that did not end the way that people felt should be. This is different. This is our fight. This is our money. This is our initiative. And the full transparency is there. If you want to stay anonymous, that's okay. But I urge you to step up and help. And you want to know where your money is going, it's going to be shared. So thank you all, and look forward for what is going to be coming. And it's our fight. Let's make it work.
Hi. Yes, Eddie, if you thank you. Okay.
And as I listen to you, I just feel like this is good for every one of us. Please, for everyone who's listening, do not wait. This is your, nobody owns it. It just happens that we are the ones who, nobody owns this. I keep saying Project C is not a person. It is the Cameroonian people. And this is our fight. This is our assignment. I almost want to say that sometimes I hear people, of course, let's be involved for those of us who are American citizens, but it's almost like Cameroon doesn't exist, We should be more in conversation about what's happening in our country. So I'm going to hand it over also to Herman, and who is also a part of our team, definitely in the back for sure. And now also he's a part of the fundraising team. So Herman, merci beaucoup.
Merci beaucoup, Elisabeth. Le message est vraiment dirigé vers tous les Camerounais. On a commencé ce combat ensemble, bien avant l'élection, et on a vu combien les Camerounais ont montré un vif désir, un engagement sans précédent à réaliser quelque chose d'inédit, un vote comme on n'en avait jamais vu au Cameroun. Ils sont restés mobilisés, ils ont montré qu'ils pouvaient défendre leur vote, ils ont montré qu'ils pouvaient braver les lois fantoches, les lois fabriquées, ils ont montré énormément d'intérêt. Et on dit souvent, quand tu es intéressé par quelque chose, tu vas y mettre de ton argent, tu vas y mettre du tien. La meilleure façon de montrer qu'on veut quelque chose, c'est lorsqu'on y met nos ressources. Et une de nos ressources les plus importantes, c'est la ressource financière. Eric a parlé tout à l'heure de ce qui se passe, de ce qui se prépare pour lundi. Il a bien précisé le caractère pacifique, le caractère non violent de notre action. Mais nous savons qu'un caractère non violent ne veut pas dire qu'on devrait être totalement attentiste. Il faudrait donc que toutes les activités, tout le soutien qui est le nôtre se manifeste à cette occasion. L'équipe de levée des fonds s'est mobilisée. On a eu quand même beaucoup de personnes. On a quand même des personnes, mais pas assez, qui ont manifesté un intérêt vif jusqu'ici à contribuer. Donc, tout le travail qui se fait. Par le passé, vous avez vu, au niveau des personnes incarcérées, au niveau des personnes qui ont été tuées, les familles, on a contribué. Et ça a été d'une aide certaine. Maintenant, Eric a parlé de déplacements, la conférence de Paris. Toutes les actions, toutes les activités qui sont menées demandent un certain engagement. Et ce n'est pas le moment de se relâcher. Ce n'est pas le moment de se décourager. C'est le moment de montrer qu'on croit effectivement qu'on poursuit l'objectif qu'on a choisi tous ensemble. C'est lorsqu'on passe par des moments difficiles, c'est lorsqu'on passe par des moments d'incertitude qu'on se réunit, qu'on se ressoude, qu'on se serre les coudes pour continuer. Sinon, à un moment, toutes les personnes, tous ceux qui sont en train de tenir le Cameroun vont se réjouir, vont continuer simplement ce qu'elles ont commencé. Ce n'est pas ce qu'on veut. Personne ne le veut. Si vous avez des contacts, parce que si, tout le monde a des contacts, tout le monde a des personnes qu'il peut atteindre, des organismes humanitaires, parce que le travail est aussi dans ce sens-là. Toute personne capable de toucher le maximum est bienvenue. La conférence de Paris, elle a cet objectif-là. Les personnes au Cameroun, toutes les personnes qui ont été blessées, toutes les personnes qui ont été déplacées, toutes les personnes qui ont été incarcérées. Project 6 se déploie pour le peuple. Et une part importante, c'est la communication que nous faisons. Lorsqu'on parle de Paris, les déplacements des avocats au niveau du Cameroun, on a reçu ici Maître Sim, on a reçu Maître Fabien Kenyé. Ils ont montré tout le travail qu'ils faisaient. Toutes ces personnes sont soutenues par votre effort. Au niveau de la France, toutes les conférences qui sont faites, c'est dans ce sens-là aussi. Il ne faut pas oublier que tous ces déplacements-là sont supportés. C'est pourquoi je voudrais insister un peu avec Elisabeth. S'il vous plaît, n'hésitez pas. Impliquons-nous, impliquez-vous. Il y en a qui s'impliquent, ça, on ne peut pas le cacher. Et Project est d'une transparence parfaite. On a rarement vu un organisme qui se montre aussi transparent. On en arrive jusqu'à afficher même, en fait, chaque centime, chaque penny qui est reçu est géré de façon transparente. Si vous ne voulez pas, par exemple, que vos noms affichent, beaucoup de personnes choisissent cette option, elles choisissent juste anonyme. Nous avons, personnellement, j'ai reçu beaucoup de personnes qui ont choisi de rester anonymes, ce qui est aussi très bien, ce qui est aussi acceptable. Donc, la mobilisation ne se résume pas à notre personne, mais elle va au-delà de ce que nous connaissons. Elle va au-delà des personnes que nous avons comme contact. Expliquons le projet, partageons l'intérêt, partageons l'idée et laissons-leur savoir combien c'est important pour nous d'être soutenus. Ce n'est pas le travail d'une personne, c'est le travail du peuple camerounais. Et la diaspora en est capable. Nous savons les capacités qu'il y a. Tout à l'heure, celui qui est intervenu, M. Tindo, Il disait beaucoup aimeraient aller au Cameroun. Beaucoup voudraient, ils se retrouvent dans d'autres pays. Ils se retrouvent à aller dans d'autres pays visiter. Ça, ce sont des devises importantes que nous amenons ailleurs. Au lieu d'aller apporter ces devises dans d'autres pays, pensons un peu Cameroun, pensons à nous-mêmes. Redéployons et redirigeons cet argent-là vers quelque chose qui compte. Et personnellement, je crois que Project compte. Pas seulement parce que j'en suis membre, mais parce que je vois ce qui se passe. Nous ne savons pas s'il y a d'autres organisations qui se structurent de cette façon, qui est cet objectif, qui est les ressources. Ça, je le dis de façon très honnête. Je ne suis pas sûr, nous ne sommes pas sûrs qu'il y ait d'autres organisations qui se mettent à la disposition du peuple camerounais actuellement avec la volonté ferme d'avoir l'action que nous avons. Donc, c'est juste une façon d'insister un peu et de mettre l'emphase sur le fait que c'est nous. Project 6, c'est nous. Project 6, c'est chaque Camerounais, chaque personne de la diaspora. Regardons un peu combien un $100 peut faire la différence au niveau du Cameroun. Parfois, quand nous écoutons certains chiffres et nous convertissons, nous nous disons vraiment ces personnes sont dans un... Parfois, quelqu'un te contacte, il te dit, il passe par des moments difficiles, des médicaments. Et quand tu lui demandes ce que ça coûte, il te dit c'est 35 000. Et tu vois que ça ne fait même pas $50. Ça, c'est un chiffre qui peut faire toute la différence quand nous nous mobilisons ensemble. Imaginons un peu, seulement si je prends juste Montréal, en 2024, Montréal a accueilli 12 000 Camerounais. 12 000, un record. Imaginez un peu que 12 000 Camerounais fassent juste $100. On est à près de 1 200 000 $. Donc ça, c'est un problème de mobilisation et d'information. Nous n'informons pas assez. Et ceux qui sont informés peut-être ne comprennent pas le bien fondé de se mobiliser. Un $100 ne va pas changer très grand-chose sur les finances des gens de la diaspora, mais ça peut faire énormément pour le Cameroun. Ça, c'était juste pour Montréal, 12 000 personnes en 2024. Imaginons depuis 2020, 2021, 2022, 2023. Quand on faisait des statistiques, la diaspora camerounaise faisait plus de 3 millions de personnes. Imaginons que chacun pouvait donner juste $1. Ça ferait 3 millions de dollars. Avec 3 millions de dollars, quel projet, quel objectif on n'atteindrait pas? Donc, on a entrepris de mobiliser les communautés, de mobiliser comment est-ce qu'on dit ça, les tontines, de mobiliser la communauté camerounaise, la communauté Bamileke, et même dans la communauté Bamileke, il y a plusieurs villages encore. Toutes ces personnes ont besoin à un certain moment de comprendre et d'être atteintes. Et c'est notre travail. Un petit effort de notre part peut faire toute la différence, à titre personnel et à titre communautaire. Donc, laissons-nous toucher par cet appel. Laissons-nous affectés par cet appel. Je voudrais m'arrêter ici au cas où on pourrait revenir. Merci.
Okay. We're going to move forward. We also have Leopold and Ari. I wanted to say, and maybe Eric will have the honor of introducing him later if he can come on. We have the privilege and honor to have Dr. Fobi on here. And I know that his words of wisdom definitely will make a big difference. And would love to listen to him when he's ready. But for now, we're going to bring up Leopold. Leopold, yes, and just talk, and can give us a little update on the ground in Cameroon. Okay. Leopold, when you're ready.
I am.
Okay.
Hello, everybody.
Mhm.
Bonjour du Cameroun. Nous sommes toujours très touchés par tout ce que Project s'y fait. C'était avec un immense plaisir et on ne s'en rend pas compte quand Harry a dit que ça fait déjà 20 semaines que Project C émet qui a cette rencontre, cet échange tous les samedis. Nous pouvons, comment ne pas se rappeler que Project C a eu l'immense privilège de recevoir 7 ou 8 candidats sur les 12 à la présidentielle, ce qui n'est pas rien. Et c'est un signe de crédibilité parce qu'un candidat à la présidentielle n'accepte pas de se livrer à ce jeu d'échange de questions-réponses dans un organe qui n'est pas crédible. Je crois que c'est à cet instant-là que tout le monde a compris le rôle et le degré de responsabilité de Project C. Et je crois que le rappel que Herman a fait tout à l'heure était vraiment très important parce que nous devons dire que ça ne fait pas forcément partie de notre culture de faire ces dons, de faire ces soutiens-là. Ce n'est pas vraiment notre culture, mais quand nous voyons le déploiement d'énergie, la collecte de fonds, les appuis que la diaspora fait pour pouvoir soutenir cette action de changement au Cameroun, ça ne peut que vraiment nous toucher. Et sur place, nous savons que au-delà de la peur qui pourrait nous animer sur place, nous savons que la recherche de la vérité, vraiment la vérité, ce qui nous anime, va toujours triompher. C'est-à-dire que c'est la vérité qui va triompher et je crois que l'adhésion que nous rencontrons, l'audience que nous avons, nous encourage énormément, nous sur place, parce qu'il n'y a rien de plus choquant que de se plaindre que l'on a mal et d'avoir l'impression que l'on n'est pas entendu. Non, avec les actions que Project Cement et autres, nous nous rendons compte qu'il y a des échos, c'est-à-dire que au-delà de nos frontières, les gens prêtent attention à ce qui se passe au Cameroun. Et Harry, tu l'as dit tout à l'heure, et c'est important, Project C le fait pour la postérité, c'est pour les générations futures, c'est pour la jeunesse, c'est pour les plus de 70% de population de ce pays. Nous qui habitons ici, nous savons que cette apathie apparente, cela ne nous ressemble pas. C'est-à-dire que pour des causes moins dures, à un moment donné, les Camerounais se sont mobilisés. Mais nous pensons que nous sommes sur la bonne voie et que de toutes les façons, le changement qui est amorcé, il va se concrétiser. Nous le savons. Nous le savons. Nous, ici sur place, nous le savons. Et vraiment, même les membres du gouvernement savent que c'est un chemin, c'est une voie irréversible. Ils le savent. Tout ce que nous souhaitons, c'est qu'il y ait moins d'arrogance déjà et que les gens se rendent compte que l'humilité, c'est la qualité que nous devons tous cultiver et qu'il n'est jamais trop tard pour bien faire. Nous savons que cela va changer. Nous le savons. Nous souhaitons que ce ne soit pas très brutal, mais cela ne dépend pas de nous seuls. Donc, il y a des actes qui démontrent clairement que la panique s'est installé quelque part. Parce que quand on perd la sérénité, on devient agressif, on devient arrogant, on use, on tend à abuser de la force. Ça, ce sont des signes qui se lisent clairement en psychologie. Donc, ça veut dire que nous sommes sur la bonne voie et on ne le fait pas parce qu'on est contre X ou Y, mais celui qui est contre la vérité, alors il faudrait simplement qu'il s'attende à en payer le prix. Nous pensons que vraiment nous sommes sur la bonne voie et Project C, c'est un projet qui est, de mon humble point de vue, c'est un projet qui est inspiré. Il est inspiré. Et donc, cela marchera. C'est une conviction, c'est une certitude. C'est une certitude. Vraiment, merci beaucoup.
Merci beaucoup, Léopold. C'est une conviction, c'est une certitude. Cela marchera. Thank you, Leopold. It's almost reassuring to hear this coming from you, being in Cameroon. And really, this is the point of the conversation that we want to have today, is that we see many people being discouraged because they've not seen the change that we all aspired for, that was going to probably last, when we started this campaign, 60 days. But we won one battle. The battle we won was that we got the world to see that President Biya lost the election. There's no doubt. Everybody knows that. Even those who have congratulated him on his taking the oath of office have not congratulated him for winning the elections. It is such a contradiction, but that's the world in which, that's what we are faced with. And our hope is that you do not be discouraged. As I said earlier, and I keep using this this picture, that in a boxing ring, it takes many punches to get to the knockout punch. This is, no matter how small you are, if you use Muhammad Ali, he won this fight. Not because he didn't take punches, he took punches, but he gave so many small punches that he never gave his opponent time to rest and recover and come back to the fight. And he always won the fight. So it is not that the knockout punch is near, but we still have several blows to get to that knockout blow. But we need you, and that's why we spent some time talking about fundraising, something that we've not always really, build this organization around. But now we're really building an infrastructure now for fundraising. You can use the Project C website. You go to projectcameroon.com, and we have a sophisticated platform now that you can donate directly on the website. But if you feel more comfortable with what we know, the Cash Apps, the Zelles, and PayPal, you can do that again on our website. All over the world now, you can. I know people in Cameroon were asking how you can donate with a Visa card, with a MasterCard. You can donate from Cameroon directly on the website. You can donate from everywhere in Africa directly on the website. So that infrastructure has been built now. So please, and for those of you who live in the United States and you're looking for tax breaks, right? The year is coming to an end. This is the time to donate, and your donation is going to be tax deductible. So please do that. But we have some big things ahead of us. We need to tell our story to the world in ways that we have not done before. Yes, if you do not talk, if nobody knows, nobody cares. So we need to make the world know what's going on in Cameroon. We have a country that has just killed somebody, that has murdered a political leader, that is not something that is common in the world today. But Cameroon has taken us back to the 60s and 70s. I mean, the only recent murder that I've seen is just as good as Russia bringing down the plane of an opposition leader. But to kill Anicet Ekane, choking him to death, depriving him of oxygen, it is something that the world must know and talk about. That is happening in 2025 in a country called Cameroon. That 27 million people in Cameroon are essentially living in an open prison where they have no right to speak, no right to political opinion. And even when they vote, their votes are not being counted. The world must know this, that behind what they see, a Paul Biya regime, it's a band of people who are there just for themselves, who have no interest in having a country that is successful, a country in which for 7, 8 years, people have been dying and killed. There's a war going on in Cameroon, and we had an elections as if there was not a war going on. And we move on every day as if there are not people dying and being killed. And soldiers, even today, soldiers, Cameroon soldiers, were killed in the northwest region of Cameroon. Cameroonian soldiers fighting against Cameroonian people. They died. 2,000 Cameroonian soldiers have died in this war Anglophone crisis going on, and the world doesn't know about it. So we must talk about it. And I think this is why we, Project C, are supporting this press conference that is going to take place in Paris on Monday. An opportunity for us to bring Anicet Ekane's story to the world. An opportunity for us to draw the attention of the International Court of Justice and other countries to make sure that we go after the criminals that are in Cameroon, to draw attention to the humanitarian crisis that we still have the Jacob Chamanis of the world sitting in jail for no reason, that simply that they mobilize the people to kick out President Biya, who is adding no value to the very existence of a country called Cameroon, and is basically a placeholder for other people to continue to steal the wealth of our country. And we have to find a way to say no. Whilst we're doing this on the international scene, we're continue to support initiatives on the ground in Cameroon. So let's talk a little bit about this press conference that's going to happen in Paris, and why each one of you listening to me, each one of you needs to support it, needs to invest in it, because this is our opportunity to shine the light on all the evils that are taking place in Cameroon. So I'm going to turn this over to you, Eric, to talk a little bit about what you will be going to Paris to be part of this press conference. So let's talk a bit about why we are standing behind this press conference as Project C.
Yeah, thanks, Ari, and I'll speak about that, and then quickly call on Dr. Mafobi, whom I'll introduce because we're quite delighted to have him with us. The event in Paris, the one thing the government in Cameroon does not want to see happen is the spotlight. They hate the spotlight. They don't want the world to know what's happening in that country, the truth of what's going on in Cameroon, the truth about legal systems that have failed. Because if international institutions, from the financial institutions like the African Development Bank, the World Bank, the IMF, to the political institutions like the European Union and so on, if they know for sure that our legal systems have collapsed, they're very unlikely to want to engage with that country. And at a time like now, where this country needs money, Cameroon is as close to bankruptcy as any country has been, and as it has ever been in its history. It's never been this bad. Close to bankruptcy, the one thing they don't want to put out there is not only the financial collapse, but the almost total collapse in all the sectors of national life. That's one of the things we're going to do on Monday. We're going to tell the world, and present that event will be everybody from the court to a host, an array of lawyers who will come along with evidence gathered of human rights abuses, of the corruption, the theft of public resources, the properties that Cameroonians own. You can take any one senior member of government in Cameroon and you'll find enough resources to address the problems of our schools and hospitals in at least half the regions of the country. Any one of them. Take Ngongo, take Ayolo, take Baboke. Some of you may not know these names. What these guys have as resources, both internally, and they've just taken a delight to building palaces, even in villages where there are no roads, to hoarding funds in offshore accounts. If anybody has access to information from the Cayman Islands, throw out any Cameroonian, the name of any Cameroonian senior member of government, and you'll be shocked at what you will see. So we will try to bring out as much of this information as possible, and hopefully people, the world would learn. As I said, this country, the last thing they want to see on the world stage is true information with proof of what's going on in Cameroon. Proof, all of this to also sustain and explain the theft of an election. Mr. Biya did not win the election, we know that. Mr. Chiroma won, we know that. But what, I hope the world will see this. What country are we when every politician who's come, put up a good show, won an election, and either been jailed or exiled, chased out of the country? Frundi in 1992, he won and was put under house arrest. Maurice Kamto in 2018 literally won, and he was jailed, thrown 10 months in jail. And now we have Chiroma, who's won, and what happens? Thrown out of the country. Well, he had to run out of the country because they were coming for him. Project C had to help put a human shield around his house prior to his leaving Garoua. All these young people, they came, stood around his house, and the military was closing in. And when it became evident that they were willing to shoot their way into his house, Chiroma left. And he's been on, quote unquote, exile ever since. So this has been happening. As I said, there's enough money in that country and outside in these tax havens and offshore accounts, enough to build hospitals that we don't have. Hospitals that we don't have. So Cameroonians are dying every day. So the death is not only coming from the live bullets that the police and army release constantly. But there's one person, and there are others, but there's clearly one person who wanted to address that problem, at least bring a solution, proposal solution to the problem of health in that country, which is one of the weakest sectors of our national life. I happen to know that Dr. Fobi was going to, Dr. Miles Fobi, for those who don't know him, it's my big brother. Went to Secretarial College, Shesan. He was there before me. I didn't, and I say it with pride, of course, because he's one of the Cameroonians who's made us proud in the United States. Dr. Fobi was at one time seen as the doctor to Hollywood stars. He was one of the best known in California. Had a clinic, one of the respected medical institutions in Los Angeles, and he was going to take a form of it to Cameroon. And you know what happened? He didn't want it. They wanted him to bribe his way into Cameroon. So the money that would have gone for that project, they wanted it in their pockets, like in everything else. And he just, after moving equipment and things to Cameroon, he decided to just give up. He couldn't go on. That's the loss. That's what's happening in that country. And that's the change we want. Because if we had appropriate governance in Cameroon, a Fobi hospital will be there. Some of you might have heard of the Fobi pouch, which got a lot of Hollywood men and women down to size. But he couldn't help his own country when he wanted to. We can go on and on about this, but let me stop here and invite Mal Fobi to just say a word. And again, to tell him that we're happy he's here. Dr. Fobi, it's over to you.
Can you hear me?
Yes, sir, we can, yes.
Okay, the host has to turn on my video, but if you can hear me, that's okay.
Oh, okay. Let's do that.
Yeah.
I think I need to turn on his video.
Well, while you're doing that, I don't have much to say. I'm an old man, but I'm proud that
you can now be on video if you can. I've given you, yes. Okay, very good.
Right. Let's see. Let's try it again.
Yes.
At the age of 80, I'm technically challenged, so if I'm not getting it right, don't blame me.
Oh, yeah.
All right. Greetings to everybody. Ari, Eric, and the people you put together. What I have to say is nothing more than never give up. Keep going. I am Cameroon. I talked to Ari about 2 years ago when I saw that, and I'm proud. And sometimes it's discouraging, but we are going to succeed. We're going to succeed because of every one of you. So far, what I've done for the last 2 years is during the elections, I tried to connect with as many people who are in my contacts with Project C and advise them and send them the website and encourage them to participate. And at my age, I don't have too many new ideas. You guys are young, you have the ideas, so I'll leave that to you. But one of the speakers made a point. There are about 3 million Cameroonians out of the country. If each of us just gave $1, that would be $3 million. Let's get to be more practical. We're not going to get 100% participation. Let's say we get 10% participation. Then everybody has to give only $10. Now, if we say, okay, let's be realistic and get just 1% participation and give $100, we'll still get the 3 million, but only 1% will participate. The point I make is not all of us can be in the leadership. Not all of us will be on the committees. Not all our ideas will be entertained. But all in all, we all are fighting with the same cause. But one thing that we can do is whoever we have leading us, we should support them. Because there are many ways to skin a cat. And whatever it does to take Cameroon to where we want it to be is what we want. So I encourage all of you participating to drop your mic as recommended to the committee, go to the website and contribute. And I'm behind you guys 100%. Some of us started this movement and you guys are going to finish it. God bless you. Stay strong. Keep me tuned in. I'll join every time I can. Thank you, Eric. Thank you, Ari, and Marie, and all others on the group. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Dr. Fabi. We are very, very honored to have your blessing, to have your support. And many people may not know how much you have given for Cameroon. You have given for the last 40 years. You've been behind, you've been the cheerleader for Cameroon. And we're not yet there, as you said, but we're not giving up. We're going to keep going. We've taken the relay baton because you built the foundation on which we stand. And so we'll keep going. And maybe we may not get there, but when we leave this fight, it's going to be in a better place so that somebody else will take the relay baton and someday we will get there. And I have the feeling every day that I wake up that we're getting there closer with every action that we are taking. And if we can continue to mobilize Cameroonians for us to stay united, to not be distracted, to realize that every Cameroonian's pain is our pain, that there is no truck driver that's not as Cameroonian as I am, that we must stand with them. There is no teacher who has gone for months without their salaries in pain. We must stand with them. We must see ourselves in that family that has lost a young one, that has been killed in this post-electoral violence for the only reason being that they wanted the will of the people to be heard. We stand with, and he said, Ekane's family. We are all, and he said, Ekane, in these challenging times, his family is our family. The people who went for 8 months without electricity in Mutengene, their pain is our pain. And so we must see ourselves in the pain of every Cameroonian and walk in every Cameroonian's shoe. And that's why we fight. For I may have to eat today, but what does it matter for me if there is another Cameroonian that does not have to eat? I must not go to bed knowing that there is a child that will wake up in Cameroon tomorrow and not have access to basic vaccines that should be able to save and protect their lives. And so we cannot celebrate a country that cannot provide for its own people, where it doesn't even allow its people to think for themselves, to have the dignity of choice for themselves. And so we're grateful that you see in us what you started. And we hope that we can inspire in others what you started and gave us the opportunity to participate. Deeply, deeply honored to have you here. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you.
And I have a question. I have a question, Dr. Fobi, for you. We need your encouragement, because I want you to tell us, in your view, what is different in this time. What are your observations on this election? And I mean in terms of how far we've come, because we really feel like we're close, this government is crumbling. But what encourages you with where we are right now? that might encourage other people in the diaspora?
I'm encouraged because of the numbers. Eric would tell you in 1992, when I got involved in trying to bring change in Cameroon, there was just a handful of people out of the country who could do anything. Right now, that number has been multiplied by 100%, I mean 1,000%. I could remember that at the time I did that, there were about 20 doctors in America. Now we're looking almost about 500 of them. There were a few organizations right now that are about, right now I'm on 2 different Zoom meetings. The internet, you are not seeing anything the other Cameroonians do not see. We all want change. That is why I'm happy to hear what Eric said in the beginning, that every option is on the table and nobody should criticize the other option. Take whatever option you have and move with it. To answer your question most precisely, connectivity with the internet, the sheer number of Cameroonians who can read and write, and the sheer number of Cameroonians who can afford to support a cause makes the difference. In the past, there were just a few, and Eric would tell you that when I convened a meeting back in 1992, some of the people who were coming, they were instead coming to write a proposal to me for grants, rather than coming to support the movement. So that era has changed. So I think we're going to succeed this time because there is the internet, there is the sheer number of people, and to make matters worse for those in power, we all can see there's nothing hidden. I mean, I was in Cameroon during the campaign when I saw people walking over to the presidency to address Mr. Biya in a hall where he was not present. And the average Cameroonian can see that. Those were things that we couldn't see then, we just heard them. And the internet is making a lot of difference. So let's go for it, we'll succeed. People like Traore is giving us hope. The lady from Namibia, I listen to them, they give us hope. So let's go for it. Let's do what we can. We try to bring people in. Don't be discouraged by people not participating. I know Project C would have problems with a certain number of people, especially those of us in America who are the English-speaking group, because there's still the separatist agenda and feeling. But if I can say anything is, I'm a Black man. I'm fighting with a Black man all over the world, in America, in Cameroon. I'm not going to let any small fight within my family stop me from advocating for the average Black person. Because every one of us that makes it is like the ocean. When the ocean rises, all the boats are elevated. So power to you all, sister.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Wow. Okay, Ari.
Yeah, thanks. Thank you, Doc, for that inspiration. The rising tide raises every boat, and that's what we're trying to accomplish here, is to ensure that we rise together as a country, and again, we're this close. We've come this far. We can't turn back now. We have to keep moving forward. At this point, I explained to somebody that we saw the elections being won. We cannot undo that in our minds, in our eyes. We know deep, there is no doubt. So because we cannot undo what happened, we have to make sure that it unravels. in all ways possible, and we will play our part. And yes, it is really important that Eric brought that up. We will not spend time criticizing our brothers, criticizing. Our goal is to focus on the outcome that we want, irrespective of who is doing what. Let's keep moving forward because we have a common purpose and we have a common goal. So let's keep moving forward. Thank you. Thank you very much. Yeah. I just want to, Eric, there were two questions that came up and I want to make sure that we don't ignore them. I'm not sure it was two, but there was one. And I'm going to get to Francois as well, because Francois has been posting something interesting that I want us to talk about it. So I'll get to you, Francois. But Ngong did ask this question, and I just want to make sure that we don't ignore it. And it says, does Project C have a relationship with President-elect Issa Chiroma? If so, what's the relationship? If not, why not? So I want to make sure that we do that. And besides, Mama T also asked, how is the president? No, she asked, can we have an update about the president-elect? How is he faring? And how is the president of Gambia helping to restore our president?
Amen.
So I wanted to make sure that we didn't lose sight of that. And thank you to Ngong and Mama T for asking those questions. We'll respond to that. And then I want to also talk to Francois and figure out what's going on with Francois. And maybe there's a way for us to work together. We have the same goal, Francois. Over revenues, you said dossier. Yes, please, Eric, if you want to take those questions.
Sure. Take the two questions. One is, I think Karen and Elizabeth have mentioned it, the fact that we continue to maintain very close relations with the Chiroma team. I may say that I'm somewhat a part of it. I don't want to take responsibility for what they do. So. But yes, we're integrally, and we've been working to ensure that our programs are aligned. We're independent. We think independently. We're never, Project C was never partisan. Even when in the heat of the campaigns, we ensured that we stayed neutral. We brought most of the candidates from Issa Chiroma himself, Buba Bello, Ateki, Yodi, and so on. We brought them to this platform, and they talked to us about their political programs. So we kept that neutrality to the very end. And then when the results came out, and we based on all the information we received, we saw that Issa Chiroma had won. We aligned with him to be sure that we got his message and that we could help in promoting that message. So his political program is something we support. Because, as you know, I was even telling a lot of the our Amazonian brothers that if you're really interested in resolving the crisis in Cameroon, or in obtaining getting to your Amazonian agenda, you want change in Yaoundé. There's no way you're going to get it with Mr. Biya, who's adamant. He created the problem, and he's not willing to engage in any discussions that will resolve the problem. It's as simple as that. If you're interested in resolving the problem, then let's have a leadership that's willing to engage with you, sit around the table and talk to you. I sent this message to Ayub Tabe and talked to the folks around him, Terence, and the rest of them. We've been telling everybody why we support change. And we believe firmly that it'll come easier if we have a team in Yaoundé, a leadership in Yaoundé that is truly interested in addressing the problems of Cameroon. It's as simple as that. So we are aligned. We're not only aligned, we are literally one with the Chiroma team on most of what it is trying to do. But we allow ourselves to go beyond that because, and we say it with insistence, we are about Cameroon. We're not about Chiroma. The reason we are with Mr. Chiroma now, and we're fully with him, is because he represents a kind of agenda that we support fully. Both his political agenda, his economic agenda, his judicial. He wants to clean up the place. He wants to clean up the constitution, wants to clean up, wants to get Cameroonians talking to each other again, to reconcile that country, to fix the electoral processes, and so on. That's why we are with him, and we will continue to be with him to the end. We will do everything we can to ensure that he gets to a 2D. And there's some folks following us on this platform or other, because we are reaching out currently to thousands of Cameroonians through this channel, but also through Mimime for Info, which has thousands of followers. The Beyond Africa podcast with Ngalim, also on Mzuimanto, also on Cameroon News Agency. We're reaching thousands of Cameroonians now by federating all these platforms. So for Dr. Fobi talked about technology. Technology is finally allowing us to really reach out to a broad section of the community, and that's what we're doing. So yes, in a quick answer to your question is yes, we are very much aligned to, and working together with Mr. Chiroma. The event in Paris, of course, again, we're supporting that. We're paying for people to leave Cameroon to go to Paris for that event. We're directly providing support, to rent a hall where the events are going to take place. Lodging some people, we're paying for, contributing to lodging some people. So there's it's a very smooth relationship, and which we'll continue to pursue. So the other question was, I don't remember what it was.
How is
Dr. Fobi talked about being an old man at 80. Let me tell him, I'm only younger than him, and so I'm behind him. Don't remember a lot of things either. Yes, sorry.
How is the president-elect faring
that's right.
What is Gambia doing to
yes
to restore his?
We are lucky to have Gambia, and I know this because I was with him in Nigeria, in Yola, in Abuja, and then I left for Lagos. Much as Nigeria took him in and was willing to protect him, even the Nigerian authorities said the viciousness with which the regime in Yaoundé was out to get him, to lay their hands on him, the viciousness of that pursuit, of that agenda, of that goal, was so strong that even Nigeria felt it'll be unsafe for him to be in that country. So they engaged, and he engaged with other African heads of state, and they came to the conclusion that it should be, he should go to Gambia. And President Barrow, who went through the same experience, he was sworn in outside his country. For those who do not know, he was sworn into office because Yahya Jammeh wouldn't let him take office. So he had to go out of the country on exile and was sworn in at the embassy in Dakar. So he is fairly safe where he is. And what I can say is he's in a good place. He's well taken care of. He's in good health. And one of the things we're hoping to be able to do is to have Cameroonians. We're hoping we can organize a trip of hundreds of Cameroonians to go to Banjul and thank President Barrow and the Gambian people for protecting our leader and ensuring that he's safe and well protected in the Gambia. So President Chiroma is in a good place. He's healthy, and we're sure that he'll be safe until he gets back home to be sworn in. Okay.
Well, now it's official. We're going to Gambia.
Yeah.
Now it's
Take
made
that out of the
official to the
bag.
world. But I would say anybody who's joining us for the first time, join our WhatsApp group. In the WhatsApp group, we've been asking people to write a letter of gratitude to the president of Gambia and asking him to do a little bit more to protect the president-elect of Cameroon, but also to ensure that the people of Cameroon get their rightfully elected president installed, and to lead the diplomatic efforts with all other African countries to say that this must stop. The people, the will of the people must prevail. And that is something that you can be part of. You can tell the rest of the world that President Biya's time has long passed, that the 12th of October was his last day in office, and everything else is an unnecessary prolongation of the suffering of the Cameroonian people. That is unacceptable. So I hope that does answers your questions, Mama T. Thank you for asking those, and Gong for asking as well. And anybody who has questions, I've been trying to monitor online to see whether there are questions from the various platforms so that we can bring them here. I don't see anyone at this time, but if I missed it, please. I'm hoping that somebody in the team can be able to bring those up.
Absolutely.
So we're going to go to Gambia at some point. That's a project in the making. We'll announce it, but I think it all makes sense that we meet somewhere where the president-elect is as Cameroonians and show the world our support. So that's a plan that will come back to the rest of the world with. But stay tuned. I also have been really keen on, I'm not sure, Francois, this is your first time, je sais pas si c'est la première fois que tu participes à cette conférence virtuelle de Project C, mais j'ai suivi avec beaucoup d'intérêt ce que tu as posté dans les commentaires. Et nous aussi à Project C, on est en train de parler d'une sorte de documentaire qu'on veut publier pour montrer au monde entier ce qui s'est vraiment passé pendant les élections et pourquoi pourquoi on ne doit pas accepter cela. Donc, c'est avec beaucoup d'intérêt, si vous voulez, partager avec nous pourquoi vous êtes là aujourd'hui, pourquoi vous avez estimé que c'est avec Project C que tu dois partager cette documentaire. Vous pouvez commencer à d'abord nous dire, est-ce que c'est la première fois que tu es avec nous? Comment tu as dû entendre parler de Project C? Et après, parlez-nous de votre production.
D'accord. Bonsoir tout le monde. C'est la première fois que je participe, mais j'ai suivi un peu les conférences d'avant, notamment parce que moi je suis cinéaste, hein, en fait. Je suis cinéaste de formation de métier. Ça fait 30 ans que je fais des films.
Oh.
Oui, et depuis, mon premier film est sorti en 93. Tourné en 91, sorti en 93, donc ça fait 30 ans que j'ai fait des films. Et ça fait, là, je vous parle actuellement de Kigali, là où je vis, et où je vis depuis plus de 20 ans, presque 25 ans, et où j'ai travaillé depuis ces derniers 25 ans sur la mémoire du génocide, et donc sur comment utiliser l'audiovisuel, le cinéma, pour travailler sur la mémoire, en fait. C'est un de mes thèmes, c'est une de mes thématiques qui me hante un peu. Et donc, j'ai passé quand même les 2-3 dernières années entre le Rwanda et le Cameroun. Je suis revenu à Kigali en septembre, juste un peu avant les élections. Donc, je suis évidemment très, très intéressé par ce qui se passe. Et j'ai beaucoup suivi le jour des élections, la nuit, les résultats. Donc, j'ai beaucoup documenté, téléchargé les résultats, les vidéos, tout ce qui était posté. Parce que moi, ça m'intéresse en fait qu'on ait la mémoire toujours de ce qui se passe dans nos pays. Et c'est vrai que ça faisait déjà, quand j'ai arrêté de travailler ici au Rwanda depuis 2-3 ans, je commençais à réfléchir sur comment raconter aussi mon pays. En fait. C'était là que je viens. Moi, je suis né à Yaoundé. J'ai grandi à Yaoundé, en fait. Et c'est vrai que le Cameroun, c'était un endroit très, très difficile, très particulier, avec lequel on a un rapport très compliqué. Et donc, quand j'ai vu ce qui s'est passé, en fait, la nuit de l'élection, avec les résultats qui sont sortis, la mobilisation du peuple camerounais, qui pour moi était une grande surprise, parce que la période, depuis qu'on a éliminé la candidature du professeur Kamto, le pays était un peu comme dans un no man's land, en fait. Et on se demandait qu'est-ce qui allait bien pouvoir se passer. Et quand Thierry Maya a apparu et que M. Ekane et Djokam Chamourini l'ont soutenu, beaucoup de gens, y compris moi, étaient très sceptiques. En fait. On se posait beaucoup de questions compte tenu de son passé. Mais quand on a vu les dernières semaines des élections et surtout le jour de l'élection, quand j'ai vu les images, beaucoup de vidéos qui circulaient sur les réseaux sociaux, c'était quelque chose d'assez extraordinaire. Et donc, j'ai commencé à documenter ça, à télécharger, parce que j'ai la chance d'être dans un pays, le Rwanda, où il n'y a pas de problème d'électricité, il n'y a pas de problème d'Internet. Donc, je me suis dit que c'était un devoir pour moi de récupérer notamment les résultats des procès-verbaux et de les dispatcher aux autres, en fait. C'était important que le monde connaisse la vérité de ce qui était en train de se passer dans les bureaux de vote. Et puis, je me suis rendu compte, après donc, la manipulation qu'il y a eu, qu'on ne pouvait pas rester silencieux, qu'on ne pouvait pas simplement continuer à être dans l'ombre. Et c'est pour ça que c'est comme ça que l'idée de faire cette série, d'abord au départ, ce n'était pas une série en fait. C'est parce que quand j'ai analysé les éléments que j'avais, dont c'était des vidéos qui ont été filmées par les Camerounais dans les bureaux de vote et qui ont posté. Donc, ma série est basée là-dessus. Je me suis dit, non, il faut que cette force, il faut que ce courage-là, il faut rendre hommage à ça, mais il faut utiliser ça pour parler au monde. Comme vous disiez tout à l'heure, raconter ce qui se passe dans ce pays, en fait. Et surtout raconter que ce sont les Camerounais eux-mêmes qui sont en train de faire l'histoire de leur pays. Ça, c'est que pour moi, c'était un moment vraiment, le 12 octobre, pour moi, était un moment extraordinaire dans l'histoire du Cameroun. C'est vraiment, like you say in English, a turning point. Moi, je ne savais pas que les Camerounais, non seulement allaient voter, aller rester dans les bureaux de vote, aller surveiller le vote, aller filmer et aller partager au monde entier. Ça, c'est pour moi quelque chose d'assez extraordinaire. Et donc, la série aujourd'hui, pour moi, c'est de dire aux gens, comme vous avez dit tout à l'heure, il a perdu les élections et voici comment il a perdu les élections et voilà la mécanique de fraude qui s'est développée pour permettre que les élections soient volées. Et en travaillant donc sur les images que les gens avaient postées, je me suis rendu compte, et ça m'a amené d'ailleurs premièrement à aller lire la loi électorale. Parce que je m'intéressais aux élections, mais je n'avais moi-même pas vraiment, je ne connaissais pas vraiment le code électoral camerounais. Et je me rends compte en travaillant sur les vidéos qu'il y a plus de 12 articles de loi qui ont été violés, rien qu'en me basant sur les vidéos que j'ai trouvées sur Internet. C'est quand même assez extraordinaire. Ça veut dire que même eux-mêmes ne respectent pas les propres lois qui sont en place, qu'ils ont votées. Donc, c'est important, je pense, de travailler dessus. Donc, ma série, en fait, c'est un peu ça. Et pourquoi Project C? Parce que je pense qu'on est dans un moment de l'histoire où, effectivement, nous, Camerounais, on doit mettre un peu de côté un certain nombre de choses et essayer de trouver la force et de travailler ensemble. Que chacun apporte ce qu'il peut apporter pour que ce pays change. Parce que ce pays doit changer et ce pays doit changer maintenant. Je pense que ce combat, nous devons le mener pour nous-mêmes, mais surtout pour les générations futures. Voilà. Ça, c'est un peu en gros ce que je veux dire. C'est pour ça que j'ai passé les 2-3 dernières semaines. Là, quand j'ai reçu le lien pour la conférence tout à l'heure, je suis encore en montage. C'est pour ça que vous voyez, j'ai mon écran de montage là et puis le petit laptop. Et quand j'ai reçu le message de Léopold tout à l'heure avec le lien, je me suis dit, bon, je vais arrêter un peu. Et pour une fois, je vais participer et écouter ce qui se dit. Et voir. Et donc, en fait, c'est quand Eric a parlé de la conférence de lundi, je me suis dit, bon, peut-être que ça pourrait être intéressant. S'ils avaient des éléments audiovisuels, voilà, pour raconter un peu, ça peut les aider. Donc, c'est comme ça que j'ai posté les informations sur la série. J'ai déjà monté 5 épisodes. Il en reste encore 3 à monter. Mais le projet, en fait, c'est de faire une série sur la fraude, mais c'est aussi de faire une série sur la mobilisation. Il y aura une deuxième partie qui sera sur la mobilisation des Camerounais pendant l'élection, parce que c'est important que le monde comprenne que les Camerounais ont fait un choix clair, le choix du changement, mais ce n'est pas le choix d'un homme, en fait. C'est le choix d'un pays qui doit changer et aller dans la bonne direction. Et je pense que c'est important pour moi, en tant que cinéaste, en tant que quelqu'un qui raconte des histoires, d'être le porte-parole de ce moment historique pour le peuple camerounais. Voilà, en fait, c'est un peu ça mon travail en ce moment. Je ne sais pas si ça répond à votre question.
Oui, absolument, absolument. Merci beaucoup, François, d'avoir partagé aussi passionnément le travail que vous êtes en train de faire pour le Cameroun. Au début, quand on a commencé avec cette idée de Project C, on a choisi C pour utiliser ça comme un alphabet rassemblant, c'est-à-dire C comme Cameroun, C comme changement, C comme citoyen, C comme challenge. Donc, Project C, ça doit réunir tous les Camerounais, sans ethnie, sans langue maternelle, sans des parts du Cameroun. Ce qui nous réunit tous, c'est le Cameroun.
Harry, if I can say something.
Yes.
Okay. François, ce que vous faites, le travail que vous faites est incroyable. Incroyable. Nous avons vu un court-métrage concernant les résultats des élections. Je ne sais pas si vous avez eu l'occasion de le visionner aussi.
Oui,
oui. Oui. Je ne sais pas si vous connaissez ceux qui sont derrière ce court-métrage-là.
Non, je l'ai vu, je l'ai trouvé sur le net, en fait. Parce que je regarde beaucoup ceux qui parlent du Cameroun, des élections, et donc je documente. Parce que je vous dis qu'un de mes dadas, c'est qu'en Afrique, on a perdu cette habitude de conserver des choses, en fait, d'avoir la mémoire qu'on peut transmettre. Donc moi, j'essaie de capter des choses.
Votre travail,
ça puisse servir.
Votre travail est vrai avec vous. C'est ce genre de mémoire vivante-là. Vous savez, vous avez vu bien, les Camerounais sont un peu, je ne sais pas si je vais dire désespérés. Vous avez bien mentionné, il y a une soif de changement qu'on ne décrit pas. Ce n'est pas pour un homme qu'ils ont voté, c'est pour un changement. Et Harry essayait de dire, l'idée derrière Project C, on avait mis par la providence des choses, le C renvoie à citoyen, à Cameroun, à changement, à tout ce qu'on veut mettre, c'est cela qui est rentré. Et on a vraiment besoin des personnes qui font un travail documentaire comme vous pour garder vraiment vivante cette mémoire-là. Le malheur qu'on a eu dans les années 57 avec les Omniobé, avec les autres, c'est qu'on n'a pas assez d'évidence. Beaucoup de personnes, on a des historiens qui sont malheureusement en train de partir. Cette génération-là est en train de disparaître. On a encore quelques grands-parents qui nous raconte la période du maquis. Et nous-mêmes, on nous avait présenté les Omniobé comme des maquisards. Donc, j'ai grandi personnellement avec l'idée que Omniobé, Ernest Wandi, avait un caractère péjoratif dans mon esprit. Vous imaginez jusqu'à quel point on a détruit ma génération. S'il n'y avait pas un travail d'historien, nous n'aurions pas pu renverser la vapeur. Nous n'aurions pas pu renverser les valeurs comme aujourd'hui on a pu. Aujourd'hui, on sait que c'était des gens qui voulaient le bien du Cameroun. Mais on nous les avait toujours présentés comme des gens des maquisards, des gens mauvais, etc., etc. Et on a baptisé toutes nos rues, boulevard de la Liberté, boulevard Leclerc, boulevard ceci, lycée Leclerc. C'est des choses qui nous font mal. Alors qu'avec un travail documentaire comme le vôtre, il est très difficile qu'on aille tromper le monde. C'est pourquoi, au nom de Project C, avec votre permission, je voudrais qu'on garde le contact avec vous, s'il vous plaît.
Absolument.
Merci
je vais partager
beaucoup.
les contacts, il n'y a pas de souci. Et comme je vous dis, moi, j'ai utilisé les vidéos sur Internet et c'est vraiment un travail qui est au service de la communauté, qui est au service du pays. Donc, moi, l'idée, c'était de faire ce travail et de le mettre à la disposition pour que ça puisse être utilisé, en fait,
super,
dans le combat que nous menons pour le changement au Cameroun.
merci.
Donc, il n'y a absolument aucun problème par rapport à ça.
Merci. Je ne sais pas comment vous avez été informé ici, mais comment est-ce qu'on garde votre contact? Comment est-ce qu'on a vos références?
Je vais partager. Je me suis inscrit sur les groupes WhatsApp et tout, donc je vais partager mes contacts. Et voilà, on pourra rester en contact par WhatsApp. Moi, je suis au Rwanda, donc par WhatsApp, je suis joignable, j'ai la connexion 24/24. Donc,
Who sent you the text, François? François?
Yes.
Who sent you
You can
the
speak in English and you feel more comfortable in English. It's okay.
Yeah, who sent you the link? What did you? I hear you mentioned Leopold.
Leopold sent the link because we are in a WhatsApp group together. The
Okay,
WhatsApp
so
group
no
from
problem.
Jean-Pierre
We
Nicolo.
would definitely get in contact with you. We know we are spread all throughout the world now, and meanwhile
Yeah.
we're very open. Security is very important. I
Yeah.
personally just want to say thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you.
No,
First of
don't
all,
thank me. It's normal. I mean, it's
well,
a duty.
we need to, because here's why. It's like a thirst that we had in Project C, and you really fill in that gap. We have talked about, exactly what you do, exactly what you do. We've talked a lot of times about just wondering, not just in the documentation you put together, but just little different information that we can send out. And,
Yes, exactly.
a lot of times, people, these things cost money. But
Mhm.
the reason I kept saying thank you is because to have someone who volunteers, we know that is a lot to produce things like that. We understand that, if we're equating that to money, it's something that maybe we can't pay right now. And even if we could, that money can go to something else. So we are
Exactly.
so grateful
I
that by
agree.
divine order, we in Project C continue to grow, and that this was sent to you. And I just want to say that as we started in the beginning, this is what we were saying to everyone. We need to engage in conversations. We need to talk to people. I make it a point to send links out regularly because, like you said, you may not have known if Leopold didn't send it to you, and you have so much to offer. So we are extremely grateful. If you post, I think you already posted a link. Maybe we can share that also
Yeah.
at the very end of
Yeah,
the,
of course, you can use it. You can, if
of
you
the Zoom.
think
Yes.
it's useful, you can use it. Feel free to use
Thank
it.
you. All right, Ari.
Well, I see that you all have gotten the contact from Francois, and we're looking forward. And Francois, I hope that you're going to be open to doing other projects, other projects in the future in the collaboration with us.
Yes.
Keep telling this story, even after, because we must preserve this moment in history.
There is no after. I mean, this is just the beginning.
Yes, this is the beginning.
Comme je l'ai dit tout à l'heure, j'ai dit, c'est un travail que nous devons continuer et que nous devons passer à la génération d'après.
And
So there's
it
no
would impact, like Herman was saying, the education. One of the things that we're missing, and I've been saying this, we grew up, I think there's a little bit of Cameroon history, and I don't know for the French side, Francois, but in the Anglophone side, and if you did not go to sometimes a government school where they teach this, then you really miss out on it. Because so I didn't know that. And then you go into secondary school, they're talking either to international affairs or European history. So we grow up in a country where we do not, at a very minuscule level, where little kids, you learn about, all the sensational characters. You are being told, I have a grand uncle on my grandmother's side who were maquisards, but they were the true freedom fighters. So, and then, you move on to college where you're learning about the West Indian European history, and you're prepared for a foreign mind already. So that is why we do not even understand who we are as a people. We don't have pride in who we are as a people. We are not connected to each other with such commitment of you are mine and I am yours. No matter, like Dr. Forby said, the little fights we have in our house, but the first thing is nobody comes to you, but we trust other people. Our country would sign a contract with a foreigner when we have Cameroonians who can do it. It is nuts. And we can say, yes, it's fraud and all of that, but it's deeper than that. It's lack of knowing oneself, lack of knowing who you are, where you come from, and your history that has been dispersed. And so what a great thing that you're doing. And there's no limit to where this can go, because obviously in rebuilding our country, we need to change the educational system. We need to have the correct history from primary school, all the way to secondary school. it should be about our country, and then people who want to know a little bit more can learn about different options in the university. So there's just, we are so happy that you're here, grateful for that, and we know that we'll have a long-term collaboration. So we thank you so much.
Welcome, really, absolutely. I'm ready for that.
Thank you.
It's my pleasure.
Thank you very
Thank
much,
you,
Francois, for joining us today. We really do appreciate you, as it's been said. Well, with that, I just want to say, this is how change happens. We keep, the rolling stone gathers moss as it rolls down the hill. So we keep building, we keep running into opportunities, and we keep never lose sight of what the outcome is. It's not about one party, it's not about me, it's not about you, it's about us, it's about Cameroon. And so we're going to keep working towards the outcome that we want, a liberated Cameroon. It's almost as we are fighting for the independence of our country. And to do that, we will give what it takes to be able to get there. And we need everyone, wherever they are, to be part of what we're trying to accomplish. So, Francois, thank you. I think at this point, I want to remind everyone, if you want to donate, wherever you are in the world, just go to projectcameroon.com and you can donate on that website. Go to our Project Cameroon /donate and you can be able to donate. And we've put it in here several times, so you can go there and you can donate. If you're in the US and you're more comfortable with Zelle or WhatsApp or PayPal, we're also going to put the information there that you can be able to make a donation to this project. But if you really, really want change, if you really aspire for change in Cameroon, please stop dreaming. I want you this moment to wake up. Stop dreaming, be part of the change. Take action to make sure that that dream becomes a reality. It was, you may want to win the lottery, and that's what we're hoping for, that we win the lottery. But we can only win the lottery if we buy the lottery ticket. We can't just think that we want to win the lottery. You have to buy that ticket. Your $10 donation, your $20 donation, your $100 donation, your $1,000 donation is rolling a dice on the change that we want. Is buying that lottery ticket so that you can stand the chance of winning. If you stay on the sidelines, if you only hope, that's not a strategy. The only strategy that we have now is action, is standing together, is supporting each other, is seeing in each one of us the opportunity of the liberation of our country, and each one of us bringing their skill sets, their talent, their passion to move us closer to the goal, liberating 28 million Cameroonians who are stuck in a prison that is not of their own making, a place in which they cannot think, a place in which they cannot achieve their greatest potential, a place in which their choice is stolen from them, is taken from them. I don't care how wealthy you may be, or how poor you may be, how educated you may be, or how uneducated you may be. You are Cameroon. Each one of us represents the hope and aspirations of the Cameroonian people. And so we stand together to fight this fight. And it's a good fight, and one that we must win. And the end is near for this regime. The end is near. So, Eddie, I think that brings us to the end of our session today. I want to thank everyone from everywhere.
Already, just one more thing, and there's always a one more thing, right?
Yeah.
I don't know if Mimi is available.
Oh,
because, yes. This is a very important also partnership and collaboration that we have formed. It is worth saying that, and this is for calling me, I want to make sure. Mimi, are you able to be on and speak about our collaboration?
Oh yes, yes, big. There's lots happening, right?
Yes, yes, a lot happening. Yes, are you going to be able to do that, please? Yes, yeah, as we close. Okay, we could use your voice. You may not be on camera, but we can use your voice. So thank you. I will. You would follow me. Thank you. Okay. She will come on. Yes, we are on right now. Yes, thank you. We kept her up last night. So she will join, maybe not on camera, just a few minutes. We need her confidence. So so what I was saying as she comes on is that we've had a great collaboration. And again, this is what this is about. What we're doing that is so different is that it's not a group or a bunch of people who are out to gain power. I know we've heard many things, and we want to be straight talk. We are the 80% Cameroonians who don't have a voice. I have said is the only reason why I'm here. And the 80 or more Cameroonians, the people who are between 80 and 35, who own the future of this country. Some of us, it's, very little more. But I know Dr. Fomi's laughing. Some very little more, and he says, "Oh, try that." So, but realistically, if you're in your 50s and your 60s, the people who are coming who own this country are the ones between 18 and 35. And this is 85%. I know we've done a lot of talking, but I want us to just think for ourselves. They have no future. They are marginalized. There's that group, and then there's the other group, which is the upper echelons, like the government, and then you have other business people and other people. Trust me, that's not why we're here. Yes, for a certain reason, but the majority of why we're here, we need to be able to fight for the people who absolutely don't have a voice. They could just go and take 2,000 people, children as early as 14, and put them in jail. We should be outrageous. We should be talking to people all the time. In any conversations we have, we need to inject Cameroon and bring that up, because that's the difference. And so Mimi has been doing that. She doesn't need an introduction. They have been doing that. They have a team. And we had the privilege and honor to have a meeting with them. We have collaborated with them. Most of you know that. And we have been able to support some of the things that they're doing. But we realize that we need to have strong bridges. MMI is not Project C, and Project C is not that, but we need collaboration, and we need more. Just like now with Françoise, we are all together. What do we have that we can bring to this market? Some people are selling cocoa yams. Some people are selling, you know what I'm saying? It's not one thing. What is it that's in this market? That's Cameroon. So everyone here is asking what you can bring. So we're really excited because we're starting a collaboration with MMI that is, I know it's going to really open up more doors and do a lot. So as soon as Mimi comes on, she's going to be able to speak. But I also want, on a really cautious side, to share this openly, because we now know that when your life is being threatened or in danger, you're not quiet about it. You need to talk about it so people know. And one of the things that I have so much respect for Mimi and her team, the Cameroon government she has been a little concerned or fearful for her life for some of the things that they have started doing right now. And it is important that we talk about this. I don't want to be the third party telling a story when we can tell it firsthand. So maybe not a lot, but I think we have Kingsley. Kingsley, if you're on, I think it's important for people to know, what are the stories that are going, what is it that they're creating initially, because understanding that and that we are more alert, and they know that we know what they're planning. Just like we sent out the news letting Shiroma's life was at risk and they were trying to kill him. So everybody knows what they're trying to do. Definitely will help the situation. So Kingsley, are you on? Because I know Mimi is getting ready to come, just a few more minutes. And if Kingsley is on, Kingsley can talk about that. Eric, I don't know if you wanted to mention something because you kept going in and out.
Yeah.
Yeah. You can go on while Kingsley comes on.
Yes. No, I just wanted to inform everyone that going forward and from next week especially, we will have as part of this arrangement with Mimi and Kingsley and the others, we will have 1, 2, maybe 3 journalists on the ground to give us a sense of how all of this is coming together, what is really happening, and allow us to see with greater clarity how we are moving forward. So from next Saturday, hopefully you will see that, and we'll try to not only capture a sense of movement of what's really happening, but possibly, show you some video footage of where things are happening. For example, this week, a lot happened this week in Tangene, in Moliko, in Kumba, in Douala, Daido, in the east. So things are happening, and it is all of these little sparks that are coming together to create the flame that this has to become, so that we can bring everything to an end. And as I said, this is part of what we're doing with Mimi and a host of others. We will introduce the members of this partnership also, as Mimi might make allusion to it. And I think it's also important that we mention who, the core team of Project C, and to also thank them for the amazing work they're doing, the time this is taking. Dr. Alan Tita is just amazing. Judith Nwana, fantastic. Michael Senze, Herman, you've seen him. There is and then of course of the group, Chris Che, whom especially those of you in Chicago may know very well. Then of course, there's the rest of us. Leopold, one of Leopold Zesse, one of our key members. And who else? And I hope I've not left out anybody. If I have, blame it on the old man. Dr. Fabi will understand that. Okay. Is Mimi with us now?
Yeah, so there's a lot of people who really like to stay in the background, and Eric just sure you can never name it just suffices to say, and we need more, and we need more. You are the extensive team, but we need people who are cleaning the house, making the coffee in the morning. That's what some of us are doing, and we need more people to be able to do that. Maybe clean the walls. There's a lot we need. So we're so grateful, and I know that one of the things that I know there's not a need to say this, but I think it may have an impact. Just so you know, we have not had any positions since we started. In all the work we've done, we don't have any titles. We don't have any of that. You see, it was so important to us, and we jumped on. We never said, you do this. We just hands on, and people just take over, and that's how we've been working. And I say this, of course, not to shine light on us, but to shine light on Cameroonians, who we are, what we're capable of doing. And, and that we can get in a place and it's also important to say that we've never really had a stitch. We've had very, very invigorating conversations, but the honor of being among the respect that we have for one another. And, you know, how we've been able to conduct ourselves is why we're here as Project C. And we know we will continue to grow generations down. So again, saying this all appealing to you, that there's a place for you. This house is huge, it's a palace with millions of rooms. We need more people to come in to take over. It is our country. It is our fight. It is our future. It is us building a new country. It is what's taking the rightful president in there. All of this is going to be done because we are ready to take over our country. So I'm going to have Mimi just talk about some of the work we're doing and what they have already, you know, maybe Mimi, just maybe a little bit of what you guys have already been able to accomplish. And, you know, I must say that he has a huge team also, and there are people who are undercover, rightfully so, all over Cameroon. And of course, the face we see is Kingsley, who is not able to join, but he's in the background working, you know, tech and everything. And Mimi, who is here, but there's a lot more also in the back. And that's what makes it unique. And I think sometimes we don't know as a people how to tell our story, and not one for power and position and recognition, but to tell a story in a way that inspires other people to know that within them also lies their greater self and they have self to offer. And so this is why we do this. This is why it is so important. Everybody here has something to say. That it's I know that I'm just a voice, but everybody here has something that's important. I truly believe that within us, God has, everyone has a diamond in them. So it is important that we listen. It's not just, nobody's praising each other here. We are appealing that everyone has something. Mimi, definitely through very difficult circumstances, I think most of you know the story how she left Cameroon, has really taken this bitter lemons and made phenomenal lemonade out of it, and continues to do so. She's taken a situation where she would have just been left as a victim and turned it around. And it's not only serving the people of Cameroon, but she's serving journalists. She's serving young people who have a dream. And sometimes even she would not say this, but I need to say it so we can be inspired. And even paying their bills, paying them so they can sustain themselves, that kind of dignity. And while she herself is not in a position that she would have wished to be, she would have been a journalist in Cameroon. So it is so important that we take interest in knowing how we are serving so that we can develop more of our servanthood and servant leadership, because most of us are already doing it, of course, you know, in our communities, schools and past schools and tribal organizations we have. Now we need to do it as a country. And these are some of the, we're so grateful. So me,
I just want you to confirm that you can. And
yes,
Project C,
yes,
thank you so much for having me this evening, for the thousands of people watching via different social media platforms. Thank you as well. You've raised a very important point about we are doing the work. Sometimes people don't really get the depth of what we work on, the things we do every day. And I would say yes, because sometimes we think about telling people exactly what we are doing. Some people reach out, how can we get to the MMI team? How can we talk to you? Or how can we even help? And I'm thinking like, okay, tomorrow I'm going to send a response. And by the time I'm thinking of responding to that person, there's an accident, or maybe the people's victory has been stolen, or there's been an attack somewhere, and you feel like, okay, that coverage is more important than responding to that message. And then you forget about the team, talking about what you do and how people can actually get to reach out to you. So certainly, many people who are watching right now or listening, sorry, you cannot see me physically because I'm also in the middle of something, and I was just called to come in. You must have reached out to us via WhatsApp inbox to say, oh, and you might not have gotten a response, not because we don't want to respond to you, but because the level of messages, the number of messages that are there unanswered, the people, I mean, the manpower is limited, the problems are just a lot. Just yesterday, Fabrice Lena, who's been like a very important, huge political voice in the country's political landscape, was denied bail and he's been in detention for several weeks now. It could go for months, for years. We know how the system in Cameroon works. Yesterday, it was a dark day in Cameroon. Black Friday, we're talking about an explosion, a huge explosion that took place in the southwest, where people died, a lot of people, soldiers were being killed in the Anglophone regions. We didn't even see the governor of the southwest region visit these victims. In some countries, especially in the diaspora where we are, it will be a day of national mourning. People will go out, people will mourn, people will talk about it, the government will react. I mean, the leaders of the country will come out to console the victims. But it's just like we've been left on our own. And if you see MMI consistently reporting some of these things that are happening, is because we have, from the very beginning, stood for the people and with the people. And if you see MMI working with people like Project C, organizations like Project C, from the very first time when Project C came into limelight, they stood for the people. They've stood for the media. They've worked with the media. They stand for what is right in Cameroon. You've consistently brought all the opposition party leaders together, all the civil society actors together. You've worked with people from different, how can I even describe it? You've been working with people from different domains, from different sectors, from different fields. You don't care where they belong. You just want Cameroonians to come together for a single objective, for the people's well-being, for the people's victory to be, for the people's will to be respected, for human rights to be respected, for freedom of expression to be respected, and for change to happen in Cameroon, because Project C is for change. And that is exactly what MMI stands for. That is why our goals actually align. And MMI has been doing this partnership with Project C for quite some time. Even on air, when we did the big debate, I said it clearly that we were able to do the big debate thanks to Project C, because for the first time, we had an organization that came to say, oh, what do they do? We deployed the reporters across all the regions of Cameroon. They were able to cover what was happening. And even on after the election, we did a series of discussions together and programs together that were sponsored by Project C. And after then, we've also worked together within the context of, the People's Regional, Rebecca Enonchong. We have built a huge network with Beyond Africa podcast of Bernard Ngalin. We've also had Sandrine Yamga, a colleague who is a journalist who is in Canada. We also have Nzui Manto, who has been doing tremendous on different social media platforms, really telling the world and even Cameroonians in general what is happening. We have all come together for a single objective. We worked also with people like Boris Betold, Paul Chuta. We have also worked with the Cameroon News Agency for Hansen Chanji. We have all come together for this particular objective, not for Issa Shuruma Bakari, because people kept saying that we only support one candidate. If he was another person that was elected, because the election results showed that Issa Shuruma Bakari was the winner. He won the election, and we are standing for what the people stood for. The people voted their leader, and their victory had to be protected. Their victory they had to see the person that they voted at A2D. And we have not yet arrived at A2D yet. We are still on our way, still trying to see how we can bring about change in the country. So it's beyond what people are saying, it's the real change that people want to see. And that is what MMI stands for. And that is what we will continue to do. And hopefully the partnership stays. I also want to just mention to members of Project C that a lot of people keep saying in the comment section, how can they join? So Elizabeth, maybe before you conclude, you can really explain to the people out there how they can join if they want to be part of Project C activities. What can they do to also be part of the movement? Because it's a movement that is beyond political affiliation. It's for Cameroonians, irrespective of where you find yourself. And MMI is very, very proud. We are so proud to say we are partners with Project C, because Project C stands for freedom of expression, which is something I stand for 100%. Project C is for human rights, promotion of human rights. Project C is standing for change in Cameroon, and MMI is standing for change in Cameroon. I think that's all that I have to say for now, Elizabeth. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. We're really grateful for this partnership. And yes, it will be a partner for a long time to come. I just want to say two things as we, that I'm going to have Ari close us. The first thing is how to join. There's a link that we've been posting a link. If you want to be a part of it, the first thing we ask is that you be a part of our general WhatsApp group, because as you can tell, we only meet here once on Saturday, and in order for us to stay current with all that's going on, we are consistently posting on the group, and that's where we interact. You are posting, we're all keeping ourselves informed and communicating through our general group. So that's one. When you're in the general group, you get to know who are the admins, and then you can always send a note. People have done it this way. Sometimes someone invited you who knows someone. And so it's this kind of grassroots communication that we have kept for security reasons, as you can imagine, so that we can find out who has what and who wants to offer. It's like we just saw Francoise, who got a text from Leopold, and here he is, and we're celebrating already in our group saying we have a partner. So, and we have Mimi. So so that is a way that you can join. And another thing that I just wanted to highlight to us as a people, as we all are on social media, is that when we see a post that is made like on X, and they say a senator in the United States or some other person is sympathizing or making a strong statement about what's going on, and it is posted, please, I would like to encourage you to like it. I mean, Cameroonians, we need, because we know how the algorithm goes and octaves in the social media. It's a whole different metric. So we have got to like it, and if possible, put a comment or put an emoji on the comment section so that it can keep flowing. I want you guys to think that if a senator or an ambassador posts something because of what they know is going to in Cameroon, and maybe condemns, Mr. Ekana's death, and I know we're busy, but we don't even acknowledge that. When we do, and when they look up the next day and you have 50,000 likes as Cameroonians, it tells you that we are very aware and we're out. So this is something that, we have not been able to do. So when we send these links and we know where they're coming from, please, let's like them, let's comment on them, let's say something, because we're building awareness in the globe, and that is very important. Okay, last, as we go, I just want to talk about money again. I want to give you 3 different ways, because on the team, what we're doing we're building in layers. So generally, what we want, which is what you've been doing and we're so grateful, is that you keep giving whatever you have. That's number 1. And that you may be able to do this monthly, twice a week, on a weekly basis. But please put Project C in the front. We exactly what we promised we'll go. Next, at the next level, we want you to decide and make a commitment. How much are you going to give? Is it $25 to $50 on a weekly basis, bi-weekly or monthly? Is it $50 to $100 on a weekly basis, bi-weekly or monthly? That's the next thing we want you to consider. Be committed in giving. I was going to say something a little daring. It's got to do with religion, but I wouldn't go there. I don't want to offend anyone. I want to include everyone. But we want you to give in that way. That makes sense. Okay. The next thing that we want you to do is we want you to look at, now that you're giving, who are the other 5 people that can give with you? Part of the reason that we have given, and just this week we're growing as I'm speaking, some people have sent money. It's because somebody talked to somebody and those talk to other people. So we would like for you to at least have 5 people that you are encouraging, whether they're in Project C or not, it doesn't matter. If the Cameroon, we're specifically specifically Cameroonians, because we know that we don't live, that isolated as a Cameroonian community. So we all know 5 other people. Encourage them to give anything that they have. It really would make a difference with where we're going, getting our rightful president where he needs to be. That's the next thing. And then one more thing. So first off, giving any amount you have, then you can make a commitment to yourself as how much you can give. And then next up, who always think 5 other people, because if you do that, those people can also talk to 5 other people, so you can see how that grows. That's at the very least. Last but not least, we would love for you to reach out to non-Cameroonians, especially right now, colleagues at work, letting them know the story. And Francois already posted the video. We're going to be posting it in the group. That's a video you can send out and say, this is what is happening in our country. And I have been here. I'm a citizen. I am really grateful to be here, but it's just hard for me day to day. When somebody says, how are you doing? Today's a challenge. You start this conversation. Today's a challenge. I got to send you this video. This is what is happening to my country. I am grateful I'm doing good. My kids are doing good, but I don't know how to focus when the majority of people in my country who are being taken away, they're being killed just for breathing oxygen. They're being killed. And there are more who would not have the Christmas that I'm going to have, my children are going to have because of that. That you're appealing to their hearts. And then, you can send them the website, the link, which of course we have in the group, and they can contribute. And anybody can contribute anywhere now, because with a card with a logo on it, they could just go on and make a choice of where they want. So, we want to thank you. There are many other ways. Maybe other businesses owned by Cameroonians who are extremely successful. We have them, and that you can reach out to personally. Please, you can extend to us. We really have letters and other things that we're developing that we can get to them. We already have a 501c, in terms of their taxes. So everything is already in place. And so contact them, send them to the team. If you don't know how to reach them or what to say, but you're like, I know this Cameroonian who does this and does that, send that over. We will know how to reach out to them. And then also there could be other groups that you're reaching out to. You may know an American, and Dr. Fobi talked about the fact that he was a Black man. He was a Black man in America and looking for Black men all over the world. So we have Black people in America who may not be born in Cameroon, but they have a lineage there. Maybe they've already, found out their DNA roots, and, Cameroon happens to be at even the least percentage with so many people. That is an angle in these conversations we have. Did you do your DNA? Did you find out? Oh my goodness, these are conversations we can start. What am I saying here? I am saying that we can really raise funds in so many ways. Remember that Cameroon, the rogue government, the thieves, I call them Sicilian mafias, they are taking our minerals, your money, my money. They're taking our land and they're selling them out. They're exploiting in our money, and they're using that money. So if we don't raise enough funds to counteract and act swiftly, we are punishing that 80% they would just happen to be born in this country. Okay. So anyways, I know we get the point. I want to thank you. Thank you so much for being patient with me and, all what I had to say. I'm super grateful. And I just know, this is a fight. This is we're continuing. We cannot stop, especially when we're so close. We may not know the day we're moving in, but we know the day is close. And that's why we're here and we continue to have hope. So I thank you so much, Are. I'm going to pass it on to you to close. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. I'll just end by saying, no matter how long the night lasts, the sun will rise. And sunrise is near. Thank you all for being with us. We'll be back here next Saturday. Keep the faith, stay engaged, keep the action moving on the ground in Cameroon. Thanks.
Thank
you.
Bye.
Thanks, everyone. Bye-bye.